I could say with high statistical likelihood that you are in the game of trading to make money. That's the goal. You're taking some sort of risk, putting your money on the line with the goal of making more money. Most likely, your goal is exclusively not just to make more money. It's a little bit weird when you exclusively want your bank account to be bigger. You probably want that money to do something, whether it's for your family and friends, whether it's to hang out and party, whether it's to fund a different business, whether it's you want to quit your job and spend more time with your kids and be that rec soccer coach that you always thought you could be. Most likely, your goal isn't just to make money. Your goal is probably to make money and do something with that money, even if the money at its most simplistic value represents financial freedom of, hey, you don't have to go to work, of, hey, I have a rainy day fund, of, hey, if my car breaks down, I can pay for it. Hey, I'm paying for my kids to go to college. Something where you almost feel like you're not going to be as shackled down. I would say the concept of money and its integration to our society, and even at a global scale, it can feel like a giant shackle. Think about it, day in and day out, how many decisions are made because of the financial impetus. Whether you are or aren't doing something, it's a lot of the times money driven. You're getting up even though you feel like crap, but you have to go to work because you know your boss is going to yell at you. You already got written up. You don't want to lose it. Whether you're always continuously buying the name brand stuff, even though you really don't like it, it's a little bit cheaper, and you know in the long run, it saves you a bit of money. The list goes on and on and on, but think about how many decisions day in and day out are made because of money, or really what I should say of lack of money. I think that that's a common driving thing of why people get into trading, because they think, okay, maybe I can unburden myself from this, even to a certain degree. Maybe you're not going to be one of those people you're like, well, I make millions and millions and millions, the way Instagram and social media have us believe it, but maybe, just maybe, you're thinking, hey, even if my life becomes 10% easier, 20% easier, maybe I can pay off whatever, my kids' daycare just from trading, and I'll keep my normal job. Just a little bit of breathing room. Obviously, it doesn't take much research, but you can find, especially in America, and I'm sure this is true globally, we find all this information day in and day out of how much people are struggling. There is a crazy amount of people making over six figures a year who are actually still living from paycheck to paycheck. I find that to be insane. It is insane. So because of that, I think it's good to reframe it of why did you get into trading? You got into trading for some sort of freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, but basically to make the money problems in your life not as big as problems as they are. And then before you know it, and I'm guilty of this myself, you want more freedom. Okay, great. But then does it really make more sense of like, okay, cool, you do it. And then before you know it, you're spending 16, 20 hours a day in front of the computer? Even if you're crushing it as a trader, what is the point if your stress levels are through the roof, if you have no time at all for your families and friends, and you're always glued to your screen, and you're waking up in the middle of the night to check the futures market, the crypto market? Is that a worthwhile trade-off? Obviously, this is very opinionated. In my humble opinion, the answer is no. And that's why for years, ever since we guys have all first met on 2020 now, 5 years later, I've always been pitching this concept of systematic trading. And I understand at first how it was kind of difficult because not everyone had the appropriate coding background, not everyone had the appropriate stats background. But with this rise of AI, no one has an excuse anymore. If you view life the way I do, where we're basically just trying to get money to do those other things that we like, this systematic, algorithmic, mechanical trading is the easiest it's ever been. And that's because you can make whatever systematic trading you want, whatever algorithmic trading you want with AI. You no longer have that crutch of,
oh, I don't know how to code.
I believe truly that systematic trading is the best thing you could possibly ever do for you. It takes a lot of upfront work, but as soon as you create that strategy that's making money and you get AI to help you and it's doing all your coding and you're making money, it doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you're sick. It doesn't matter if you're busy. It doesn't matter if you're on vacation. It doesn't matter if you were accidentally making a cup of coffee and you just simply did not have the time to execute the trade, whether it was getting in, getting out, your risk, your profit. That's what the system is for. It makes life way easier because you are now focused exclusively on making your system better and better and better. Just crunching the numbers, talking to AI back and forth until you can make it the best system you possibly can. And when you have one, guess what? Make a second one, make a third one, make a fourth one. That to me is a much better problem rather than sitting there, and we all get into those modes when we're on tilt and we're trading, you're trading up and down and you're trying to interpret this news, but then there's slippage. All those human issues are truly, at least in my opinion, the worst part of trading. And every time we engage in that, you're getting farther and farther and farther away of why we got involved in this in the first place, when in reality, I don't know about you, but I got into this because I wanted stress-free, efficient ways to make money. Now, I'm not saying I'm not willing to work. I'm willing to put in hundreds, if not thousands of hours to strategy development, but when it's done, I want it to keep functioning. I don't want to get into that situation where I'm putting hundreds, if not thousands of hours into learning about trading, and then all of a sudden I get emotional and throwing it all off a cliff anyway when the moment comes, and I lose money even though I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but for whatever reason our stupid little monkey brains can't handle that, and then you don't do exactly what you're supposed to do. So for me, it's not like, oh, I'm not willing to work. It's no, I'm willing to put in the work, but I also want that to pay dividends in the future. I don't want to have this vast knowledge base of trading and then just because whatever, my brain can't handle it, I get emotional and I don't do that stuff anyway. So I truly believe systematic trading has always been the way to go. Hence why even Wall Street agrees. Look at Renaissance Technologies, look at D.E. Shaw, look at Two Sigma, look at Citadel, look at Virtu. They're all making money systematically. On the retail side, yes, it is possible. Before this, it was very difficult to get over that hurdle of what you should be doing, but now we don't have excuses. You could be sick, you could be traveling, you could do whatever you want, and your bot's gonna do exactly what you tell it to do. I think that's why we're in this game. I think it's helpful to once in a while take a step back and ask yourself why you're doing this to begin with. Don't lose sight of that larger goal, and make sure day in and day out you're actually trying to take steps to that. Don't get caught somewhere in the maze of trading and social media, and all of a sudden you're on a completely new road, a new path that you just didn't really anticipate. It doesn't matter how big those steps are, even if they're little baby steps, make sure you are taking them in that proper direction.